how Titus screwed up that night we were doing the chat and he fucking. Oh, I get it. So there's more hearts.
And welcome to the Friday edition of Ripping the Rack podcast. I am your hearted host, Tim. Quad host,
Hi, Tim.
Whatever. Hi, Mark. Okay, we're going to start with not Marky. Let's start with the Coastal Crusader himself, Brian Athern. How you doing, buddy?
You can't even pronounce my last name right, really?
But I'm clapping for you.
Hey.
Wow. What's going on, everybody, except Tim?
Oh, God, it's going to be one of these shows.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
Buckle up, kids.
God. Knock.
I'll be the... You haven't even introduced everybody, and you're going into jokes.
Cut it out.
Who's there? Who's there? Wait, the faster we acknowledge it, the faster we can get introduced.
Jamaican.
Jimmy who? Oh, Jamaican. Jamaican who?
You better be Jamaican.
Jamaican me horny.
Sandwich.
And with us on the bottom is Coastal Crusader. Oh, no, I already did him. Up on top is Mackie Pins. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Yeah, you good? You're going to get some hearts.
I got hearts. The Jamaican
hearts.
joke just took all the steam out of me.
Yeah.
God.
Calvin.
I thought it was going to be worse than that. It was Friday, and I really thought it was going to be worse than that.
I'm going to be the boss tonight.
Hey.
Oh, look at the thumbs.
Calvin, I got one for you. Knock.
Who's there?
May I come in?
May you come in who?
Not till we have a serious discussion about birth control.
Yeah, but it says who, not you. I got one. I got
All
one.
Better.
How come America didn't win the gold in shooting in the Olympics?
I have no idea.
There were
Because it wasn't in a high school.
There was a lot of other good shooters at the event, and they performed
That's
better.
it. That's how we don't have
And
a show
the
now.
show is canceled.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, happy Friday,
Oh my
everybody.
God. Brian, knock.
I don't want to play this game.
You're playing. Knock.
No.
Knock.
No one's home.
Asshole Calvin, knock.
Who's that?
Ice cream.
Ice cream who?
Ice cream all night if you're lucky.
That's why I didn't answer.
That's all right. I'll answer all day.
Okay, last one. Knock.
You said that
there?
last time.
Who's there?
Bend over.
Oh, God.
Bend over who?
Bend over and I'll give you a big surprise.
Ow.
Yeah, I bet it feels like a
No,
little
you
prick
won't.
and some pressure.
No, you won't.
No, you won't.
With the crying face.
Yeah, no, you won't.
Oh, hit Marky. Here's one coming up for you.
No,
in a
you
couple
said
of years.
last one
You
last
said
time.
last one.
Wait,
Not
wait,
that.
no.
Last one.
No, I got to do this one.
No, you can't mute him. Cut the shit. What is this?
Calvin,
He said
Cut it
last
out.
one.
Marky, knock.
All right, who's there?
Anita Colo.
Oh, God.
Anita
I know
Colo
this one.
who?
Anita colonoscopy.
No, I don't. Well, I'm 40.
You're
Oh.
getting there.
I'm gonna get one. Actually, I get a physical tomorrow.
You might get.
Oh, turn your head and cough and grab the
Fingers
glove.
up the pooper.
Excuse me, Doc. Are you using the whole fist there?
It's time to go in for my 10-year annual physical, or my decadal physical.
My doctor does not have a sense of humor. I know that. I found that out after my first prostate exam.
Didn't like that you kept the watch?
Oh,
No, so
You pooped on him.
no, my
pooped on him, didn't
you
you?
pooped on him.
You
my
pooped on him.
father has prostate cancer, and he's had it twice. So my side of the family is we need to have prostate exams instead of starting when you're 50. We start at like 35. So when I was 35, I had my first prostate exam. By the way, this is a wellness PSA. Guys, get your prostate exam, please. Trust me, it will save your life. It could save your life. With that being said, I was 35 years old, and it was before my league night. I bowled up in Augusta.
Oh, Jesus.
And thankfully, my doctor at the time was a woman, and she had pretty small fingers. But she was like, okay, you know, I walked in, and there's a whole tube of lube, and so I looked, and she was like, yeah, we've got to do the prostate exam. And I kind of looked at her, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to like this, am I? And she just she didn't crack a smile. I'm like, okay, well, so she doesn't find this funny. So I looked at her and I said, so you are going to use that whole tube, right? Tube of lube. Good. She didn't like that. When she did the exam, I did the old Chevy Chase. Whoa, Doc, you got the whole fist up there? She didn't like that one.
Seriously? No.
Oh, no. No.
She just wants you to shut up so she can stick her finger.
You should have pooped on her.
And then she gets done, and I cleaned up, and I get dressed, and you know, she comes back in, and she's explaining
what did you clean up from?
Yeah,
the
what
lube that's up my ass.
Yeah, but you don't need to clean up after
Yo,
that.
Did you
no,
like
they give you a
squat
towel.
over
You
a
do-
towel?
No,
and,
you
and
do.
get rid of the
You-
stuff in there. Or?
I'm telling you guys, you will be thankful when the doctor gives you a towel and says clean up. It's not exactly. Other than that, you're gonna be walking squishy. Okay.
That's fine. It just means your poop comes out smoother.
Well, there is that. True story.
Exactly.
So she comes back in, and
schedule prostate exam while constipated.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was
Yeah.
explaining kind of, you know,
Right.
what she was looking for and things like that. And I kind of looked and said, well, there's one good thing that came out of this. She goes, oh, what's that? And I said, I found out that I am not gay because I did not enjoy that at all.
Good Lord.
She didn't crack a smile.
Nothing.
No, she didn't
Nothing.
like that, bud. You
Had
were
to change
off.
doctors too.
We're done.
I'd have
I did.
farted right on her desk.
I did. No, we changed doctors. But anyway, yes, true story though. PSA guys, don't be ashamed by it. Get it done. Get your colonoscopies done when you're supposed to. It honestly can be life changing for you to get it done. In more ways than one, I guess.
Or life saving, depending on.
Or life saving.
Very
What's
true.
good.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
All right.
yeah. So
Let's
top
do
10
this.
hockey players.
Let's do this. I'll start.
That was an
Favorite hockey
awesome
players.
segue.
I'll start.
What just
number
segue
10.
right into it.
Number 10, Dominic Hasek.
Ooh, I have the Dominator, but he's higher.
Yeah, I just love him. It's so much
So-
fun to watch.
The Dominator was on my honorable mention. I did not have him on my list.
One of your lists is probably on my honorable mentions, but yeah.
Mhm.
That's my number 10. Next.
Interesting. All right, I'll steal it. I went with a more personal pick than.
By the way, we'll just keep the same rotation
Yeah.
Okay.
instead of bouncing around.
Call it right. So number 10 to me is more of a personal pick. So when I was a kid growing up, loved the Bruins, watching hockey all the time. Was a big kid, so I was the goalie whenever we played like street hockey and stuff like that. So I would watch a lot of games, and my first goalie that really grabbed me on the Bruins was
Pete
one
Peters.
Andy Moog. When I was a kid,
Andy,
Oh,
yes,
one Andy Moog. He may
yes,
not
you
have
get
been
some
the
hearts
best.
for that.
He thank you, thank
Oh my
you.
God.
He
this
was
is
never
gonna
the
be a big
best.
now.
He was never the best, but he had a cool name. I mean, if there's not a cooler hockey name than that, I don't know what is. And I had an Andy Moog jersey. It was my first ever Bruins jersey, and I was goalie. So I picked Andy Moog. I know those better players, but I put him at number 10.
Nice, Mr. Ryan.
My number 10 is a current player. It's Alex Ovechkin. I'm a big Ovechkin fan. I think he's better than Crosby. Always have. He looks like a hockey player. I just picture Ovechkin pulling up to the rink like his bag's duct taped together. It's kind of falling apart. He's like drinking like a Gatorade he found in his truck, and he's like, whatever, let's go play hockey. He's got like 2 teeth, and he's like, cool. Then he goes out and scores a hat trick, and then has like dinner, and he's like, all right, let's do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like he's a blue collar hockey dude, and I respect that.
I like Ovechkin. Sidney Crosby's a bitch. I
Yeah.
said it.
Fact. Not
Mhm.
wrong.
However,
Not wrong.
probably one of the best playmakers in the game, but he
Nope.
is a bit.
Not
You're
even
also
my,
not
not even
wrong.
in my top 10 of playmakers. I think he's a
Melkin
bitch.
made him really good in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Or still does. Yeah.
Anywho, my number 10, and this will be, you'll see this theme later on.
Old
My
guys?
number, huh?
Old guys.
No,
Gordie
he's still
Howe.
Bruins.
he's still playing.
Gordie Howe.
He is still playing.
Gordie Howe's probably playing in the seniors.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Milan Lucic is my number 10.
Oh,
Luch.
My favorite hockey players are those guys that can get the Gordie Howe hat trick. They're going to score a goal, they're going to get an assist, and they're going to beat the shit out of someone.
Yep.
I love not dirty hockey play. I love the guys that play with that edge. Milan Lucic, I loved him on the Bruins, and I wish he stayed with the Bruins. It saddens me that he's with Calgary, wasting away up there. But
Calgary.
Calgary.
My number 9, kind of a young kid kind of one, and that's because I was a big Mighty Ducks fan, and that's Paul Kariya.
Yeah.
I have him.
Paul Kariya's on my list.
On
for
my
different
list, but
reasons
he's
and much
higher.
I
Yeah.
love Paul Kariya. So much fun. So just a tiny little fucker, and he could go, and it was great. I loved watching him.
He was a lot of fun in college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was.
Best player I've ever seen come through Maine.
Oh, he came out of Maine? No shit.
Well, UMaine. He's
He's
from like Alaska.
and all his brothers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. I forgot the brothers. Yeah.
Steve, and there was one more. I can't remember the other one.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is very similar to where Coastal had him. He had number 10. Number 9 is Alex Ovechkin for me. Big, burly dude. Knock your teeth down your throat, but then score a little dangler for a goal. Like he's super talented. And yeah, he will shove your teeth down your throat for the same kind of reason.
Such a big hitter, man. Oh my God.
And
Shorzy from Letterkenny.
For a scorer, he kills guys.
That's the thing. He's such a good puck handler and a scorer when the time is right. He puts the puck in the back of the net, but then he'll also put your skull into the third row if he has to take care of you. So
yeah.
I like that kind of player also, Tim. The guy that can get that Gordie Howe hat trick, but also have a regular hat trick mixed in with the regular, the Gordie Howe. And always one of those guys. Big time.
Yeah. Brian.
My number 9 is a 90s player from when I was a kid. Always liked him. Always thought he was fun to watch. It's Brett Hull. I was a big Brett Hull kid. I really liked watching the way he played hockey. He made the Blues relevant for a while for me. So I could be like, hey, look, the Blues highlights on. At least I got somebody to watch. And then, of course, he went to Detroit and, was on those great teams for a while. And I just really enjoyed watching him play. He played a different type of hockey. It was that old school grinded out hockey. And I liked that.
Yeah.
So my number 9 makes me throw up a little in my mouth because I have a Canadians on my top 10 list.
But you have to, and I know who you're going to say. You have to have this person on your list.
Yes, it is.
He's in my honorable mentions.
He is the best goalie I think I've ever seen.
No. There's one, and it's coming up.
It better not be Carey Price.
No, there's one better than him.
I don't know. Patrick Roy is sorry, Patrick Roy. Roy is my number 9. He was just fucking tremendous.
Oh, yeah. He was tremendous.
I hated the Canadians.
Once he got to Colorado, man, what a goalie he was.
Oh my God. When he turned into the greatest goalie ever when he got to Colorado.
I know.
Fact.
Not quite. 93 season was his best one, and that was when the Habs won.
No, I know. Look, I hate the Habs. Have always hated the Habs. I will always hate the Habs. It's in my DNA to hate the Habs.
Yeah.
Amen, good sir. Preach on.
Habs and the Yankees.
But I cannot hate on Patrick. I can't.
No.
He was fucking tremendous as a goalie. So, and I loved what he did when they embarrassed him. When they left him in and embarrassed him, and he basically shot his way out of Montreal.
Yeah.
Made me happy.
Yeah. My number 8 we've talked about, so we don't need to talk anymore, and that's Ovechkin.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So my number 8, kicking it back to a goaltender. I love goalies. It was always paid most attention to. Martin Brodeur.
He's and that's the best goalie. He's further up on my list.
The numbers give Martin Brodeur the advantage over Patrick Roy, but Roy was a Montreal Canadian, so you can argue that point all day long.
I saw Patrick more than I saw Brodeur.
Okay.
Okay. Don't get me wrong, Brodeur is a great goalie. He's arguably, you can argue he is one of the best, if not the best goalie of all time.
Most wins of all time.
Just like you can argue with Patrick Roy, and just like you can probably throw Dominic Hasek in there, in that conversation. That's a good pick, though. I do not have him on my list.
I loved Martin Brodeur the year that they won the cup long time ago. He was the biggest reason why they won the cup.
He was the biggest reason why they won every cup.
Very true. Very true. He played in front of some good teams, but nowhere near did he play on teams that were as good as some of the teams that were winning cups all over the place. He was the reason that that the Devils hung into a lot of games.
In defense of, I'll say this, is that New Jersey's defense,
Scott Stevens and Claude Lemieux were pretty damn good in the back.
Was always the best in the league. They had no offense.
That's what I'm saying. No. Yeah, you can have great defense, but if you can't put the puck in the back of the net, you don't win a game. Ever.
No, and I get it. What I'm saying is, like, Carey Price this year carried Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't score, and they had no defense.
Yeah.
I just think, anyway, it's not a bad pick. I didn't like Jersey Devils either.
Yeah, but Claude Julien's never, ever had an offensive hockey-minded team.
Claude.
It's pronounced Chowda.
Brian, what you got?
Hey, my number 8 is timeless. He probably is still playing somewhere, and it is Jaromir Jagr. Love to watch Jaromir Jagr play hockey, especially there's a gentleman he played with in Pittsburgh that's much, much higher on my list that we'll get to later, and that was really fun to watch back in the 90s. But Jaromir Jagr loved when he came to Boston. Was glad that he spent some time here, and it was fun to watch.
My number 8 is still playing. I think he's like 832 years old. He's got the best hockey beard around.
Jumbo
Joe Thornton.
Yeah.
He's higher on my list.
So obviously being a former Bruins factors very deeply into my list. Huh?
Number 1 pick.
Was he number 1 pick?
He was a number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Paired with
1970.
Yeah, I think it was 1972 draft.
Yeah.
Paired on the same line as Sergei Samsonov. Sergei was on my list of honorable mentions. Loved watching that little dude play. But Joe Thornton's another one that he hit people and he hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
But he played the way you're supposed to play. Meaning he wasn't dirty. He wasn't cheap. Even though I do have a dirty player on my list. Do I have him on there? Nope. Sorry. My dirty player did not make the list.
He might be the next one that I'm talking about, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But I love Joe Thornton. Again, not a sad day when he left and went to San Jose.
Yeah.
And we
he was drafted when we had Lord Byron as a goaltender.
What's happened?
We lost Marky.
I don't know. You're frozen.
No, I'm back.
Oh, there he is.
There you go.
Sorry.
I was like, you're frozen, but we can
I
hear
tried
you.
to swipe down just to see what time it was, and apparently my iPad doesn't like that. So
yeah, you're not allowed to swipe.
All right, Calvin.
Yeah, don't swipe. Don't
swipe
swipe left.
My number 7, Canadian boy, and I think you said something about Korea. Korea's Canadian. He was in Vancouver.
No, he was from Alaska.
No, he's Canadian.
Paul Korea?
Vancouver. Yes, he's Canadian.
Brian, wasn't he from Alaska?
can somebody get on the Google machine?
I'm doing that right now. I'm pretty sure he was
in Vancouver. No, Paul Korea is Canadian from Vancouver.
Oh, I thought always, even from the time he came to Maine, I thought he was from Alaska.
I don't know where in Vancouver, but he's definitely Vancouver. Vancouver boy. Anyways, my number 7, while Brian's Googling, My number 7 is Canadian boy. Always loved watching him play for Philly growing up. Eric Lindros.
Yeah.
I was just going
Love
to say
Lindros.
that Joe Thornton did everything that Lindros did and kept his head up while he was skating.
Yeah. Eric Lindros, part of the Legion of Doom. Oh, it was so much fun
love the
watching it.
Phillies
Oh
then.
my god.
Or it's
Yeah.
not Philadelphia, but the Flyers.
Yeah.
Really?
LeClaire-
You're right.
You're a
Northern
Bruins fan. How the
North
hell can you
Vancouver,
like?
British Columbia.
North Vancouver.
Because we didn't hate the Phillies so much back in the day. Not the Phillies, the Flyers. We didn't hate the
You
Flyers. too
absolutely
much.
hated the Flyers.
Philly is the Flyers.
The
Same thing.
the Broad Street Bullies.
I said Phillies.
I always
like
liked
I was talking
the
about.
Brown
Street.
But
You
no,
can't
see,
like-
Phillies.
You can't
when you-
like the Flyers and like the Bruins. That's like liking the New York Giants and the New England Patriots. You can't do it.
if you
I
looked
hate
at how
them.
much we were conditioned to hate the Canadians, right? How much
Yeah.
the Habs were terrible. And you could just meet another random person, walk down the street, high five the man, even if you were nowhere near the Boston Garden, and both of you in unison said, hey, Habs suck. That was just what we did. The Flyers, when I was a kid, I didn't know I was supposed to hate the Flyers until much, much later. So now I hate the Flyers with a passion.
The Flyers
you watch
are like
them and
the
you're going
Orioles.
down. You're going
There-
down.
There is only one person on the Flyers that I've ever liked.
Hextall.
Nope. Before Hextall, goalie before Hextall. Pretty
I
sure it was
mean-
Flyers.
I don't even remember their goalies before Hextall. All right, Mark, you go to your number 7 while he's doing
All right,
that.
yeah. While he's also Googling, my number 7 was a journeyman guy. Wasn't in Boston for too long, but literally had the hottest slap shot in the NHL for God knows how long. Defenseman, cool dude to watch, different kind of guy. Al Iafrate. It's a name from the past. Didn't really do a hell of a lot, but when I was a kid, man, you saw him at the skills competition. That dude had the hottest shot imaginable. Him and Ray Bork going back and forth year after
Oh yeah.
year. And then when he was ever on the Bruins and him and Bork were on the same team, sometimes the same line, dude, that was awesome. Those were such great things to
Those
see back
goalies
in the
got
day.
lit up from the
Yeah,
point.
he was never the best, but just always stuck out when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Pele Lindbergh was the only Flyers that I've ever really liked. And I can't hate on the dude. The dude was killed in a car accident back in 1985. But I mean, when he was with the Flyers. So, anyway.
Okay.
Mm.
Numero
Okay.
7.
Yeah, my number 7 is a guy that I really enjoyed watching on the Avalanche. When the Avalanche got to Colorado, I was their uniforms were cool. I was a young kid. I was like, man, this is cool. I want to, and I watched a lot of their games because they were on ESPN all the time. And I really liked Joe Sakic. I thought
Yeah.
Joe Sakic was an
Yeah.
amazing forward. Dude
Sakic's
could
on
play
my
his
honorable mention.
ass off. You know,
Yeah.
he got paired with Peter Forsberg for a while. What an amazing team that some of those mid 90s,
Yeah.
late 90s
Oh.
Avs teams were. And just it was fun to watch. He was a great puck handler, and he could really lead a power play. So I just enjoyed watching him because you knew he was going to score. If you watch, you're probably going to see him score.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually responsible for one of the classiest moments in NHL history when the Colorado Avalanche won the cup. Sakic
gave it
was
to Bork.
presented the cup,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
immediately he just handed it right to Ray.
Yeah.
It was one of the classiest things.
He
I've
He
didn't-
didn't
ever
want to
seen.
take it,
He didn't.
but the
he didn't
captain
want,
had to.
right.
No,
Yeah.
they have to hand it. It's tradition, right? But he immediately just went, "Thank you. Okay, here, Ray. Here you go. Get out
Yeah.
and have fun."
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ray brought the cup to Boston, which was cool.
Yep.
So my number 7 is a relatively new player, meaning he's really only been in the league for I think 5 years. And he's quickly moving up the list. He is the best player on the Bruins right now.
Oh, God.
It is pasta time.
Oh, God.
Pasta.
I got David Pastrnak. I know I really like players that, like a Joe Thornton, Milan Lucic, but I love the way Pasta plays. His speed, his ability to score, and play make. I mean, it's the perfection line is they call it that for a reason.
They do.
Yeah. Because they can't win without it.
Well, most teams can't win without a first line. I don't know.
Just look
They're
at Toronto.
called the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's not
That's
right.
right.
Tampa Bay has 4 lines. They win all the time. They don't have a
Bruins
first line.
have 2 lines now.
I wouldn't even call it that.
Oh yeah, yeah you can.
No,
Now that they've
no.
re-signed Taylor Hall.
They still only have one line.
Nope, you're wrong.
I'm not.
You're wrong. So David Pastrnak quickly moving up.
My
Keeps
number
playing the way
six.
he's playing.
My number 6 to go along kind of with the Colorado Avalanche. He was part of the big matchup every year in the West. Detroit, Colorado. That's Steve Yzerman.
Yes.
Stevie Y.
Yeah, Stevie Y.
So
he's just
I made the mistake years and years and years ago. I think I was like 17 or 18. And I had overheard, I could never pronounce his name. For some reason, it boggled my mind how you'd call a guy Yzerman when it starts with a Y. Like
okay.
I couldn't wrap my head around it. And I made the mistake of talking about hockey with a friend, and I called him Steve Yzerman.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't figure out how to do it. I love to do it. He's on my honorable mention.
That Detroit team that he was a captain of for a long time.
Yeah.
Those were amazing teams. Scotty, they were like my second favorite team. I loved watching Detroit games.
Yeah.
They were so good.
much fun.
Fedorov,
Him,
and
Fedorov,
Osgood.
yeah.
I mean, they
The
were
West
great
Finals for those years when it was Colorado and Detroit, you could set your watch. Like those were such great series.
teams.
Yeah.
Because they were chippy, but they were well played hockey too.
Yep.
So my number 6, this is where I have Patrick Roy. For obvious reasons, one of the best goalies that ever put pads on. One of the first goalies I can remember seeing getting in a goalie fight. I mean, we all remember that.
Yeah.
We could sit here, we could talk ad nauseum about Patrick Roy, but we don't have to. Everybody knows who he was and how great he was. Yeah, B, what do you got 6?
My number 6, we've talked about already a couple times. It is my fellow UMaine Black Bear alum, Paul Kariya.
Love it.
So that's interesting that you have him at number 6. I thought he'd be higher. I really did. I thought he'd be higher.
I left a guy that I know that played professional hockey for many years.
You left Jimmy Howard off the list?
I did leave my friend Jimmy off. I say friend, the guy I talk to occasionally, but got to ride the drunk bus with a few times at UMaine. That dude, real quick, because I know he doesn't listen. He brought his hockey stick and his helmet to the Black Bear Brewery one night and sat there and drank pitchers of beer in his hockey helmet holding his hockey stick.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
He goes, what are they going to do? Throw me out?
Yeah, right.
My number 6 is a UMaine alum. Goes by the name of Paul Kariya. So I had him at number 6 as well.
Yeah. You guys are awkwardly weird together.
We live a mile apart, maybe.
That's one very
there.
good description.
Yeah, and sometimes he finishes my sentences.
We're Donkey and
Sometimes I
Shrek.
finish his. Yeah,
We're
Yeah,
Donkey and Shrek.
Donkey, get out the swamp.
My number 5 we've talked about, and it's only because he's my favorite goalie of all time, and that is Martin Brodeur.
Ron Hextall.
Yeah, Ron Hextall. Yeah, and
Jonathan Van Beesbrook.
I took, just because I love him so much, I actually looked up all of his stats. So in 12 seasons, from the 95 season to the 2008 before he got injured, he averaged 73 games a season. He averaged 37 wins a season. He has 3 Stanley Cups and only missed the playoffs twice in those 12 seasons before he got injured.
That is insane.
Pretty
How
impressive.
many Vezinas did he win?
2.
That's
What a
pretty
career.
impressive.
What a friggin' career.
That's unreal.
And he stayed with
his-
New Jersey the whole time, right? He didn't
the
go
whole
anywhere
time.
else.
He never,
No, the
he
whole
never went
time.
anywhere else. His whole career.
That's what I like about hockey. For the most part, your big name players are pretty loyal.
Well, because
They
they
stick
locked him
around.
up, right?
Well, yeah. They
And then
signed that
he-
Bret Hart deal like 13 years, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my top 5 starts with another member of the perfection line that you were talking about earlier on the Bruins is Patrice Bergeron. He has been, him and Zdeno for the last few years were the heart and soul of this Bruins team. He's still playing, no sign of stopping, still kicking ass now that he's got the C on his shirt. I'm telling you, the bees have looked very, very good. The man is just magic with his hands. He's done crazy things. And as far as the lines that he's playing on now with Pasternak and with Marchand and such like that, he's going to be around for a while longer too. He's not done.
Yeah.
He's not anywhere near done. And this Bruins team is not the same without him. It wouldn't be the same without him.
I remember when he got drafted, he did a commercial on Nesson where like he crashed the Zamboni and Thornton's like, "Can you drive?" He goes, "Am I old enough?"
Yeah.
Because he was like, what, like 16 or 17 when he got drafted, right?
17 when he got drafted, I think.
Yeah.
Been in the league 17 years.
He's been here for all of it, hasn't he?
All of it.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
of it.
He will
every
retire.
minute
He
of it.
will. He won't go anywhere else. I can't
Oh,
imagine him going anywhere else.
No, I don't think so.
And he's the type of player that I don't think I've ever heard anyone say anything bad about. Like Habs fans, Toronto fans. Well, maybe Vancouver fans don't like him, but that's okay. Vancouver sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
The Sundin sisters don't like him.
no, the Sedin sisters. Good pick.
Yep.
Brian?
My number 5. So these are our favorites. So I know this man is probably too far down on the list, but I have some people a little bit higher. It's Raymond Bourque, my dad's favorite hockey player of all time. So I grew up always. I met him at a card show. It was really cool. You know, he's pretty personal dude. Like he'll sit there and shoot the crap with you. You know, I'm glad he got his cup. I hated to see him leave, but understood why he did it, and I was happy he got it done. And to see the joy on his face when he finally held that Stanley Cup was awesome.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. My number 5 made me very sad when he moved on. Hey, Kitty. Made me making sure he doesn't hit the end button here.
Yeah.
That happened in the Surratt episode.
Yeah, we had to redo the Surratt episode. We were 20 minutes in. Cat jumped up and
Hit escape.
yep.
That's
Oh,
why it's
So
no.
move the cat, Tim.
keyboard.
That's what I'm trying to, but he's big. He's a big boy.
She said.
Lift him up and put him on your shoulder. Cats
give
like
me
that.
a kitty. Oh my god. Oh my god. Kitty. Let me love you.
Okay, that's bad.
My number 5, again, saddened me when he left and went to the Capitals. Big Z, Zdeno Chara. I loved his game. Best defensive player I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, it's because he had 8-foot reach. So.
Oh no, I know. It's his ability to control the puck and control the player at the same time. I mean, the dude he's ultra strong. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
so
He's
Big
Ivan
Z.
Drago on skates.
I know.
Yeah.
I must break you.
My number 4 is a personal favorite, and I'm sure nobody's gonna like this one. Little fucker who just wanted to cause trouble and shoot water bottles
I
into the
swear to
fans.
God, if you have Ty Domi on here, I'm coming through.
Domi, number
He's such
4.
a prick. What a little
Ty
prick.
Domi. Oh, I loved him, and that's why I loved him, because he was such a prick. But he was like the best prick, and he just got under everybody's skin. It was so much fun.
I will give credit where credit is due. The dude could fight,
Yeah, you're right. He could
and he wasn't afraid to drop the
with
drop the
anybody.
gloves.
With anybody.
One of there are times where I obviously go down the YouTube rabbit holes,
Yeah.
and I'll listen to or watch hockey fights,
Mm-hmm.
and you listen to these guys, and they, hey guy, how you doing? Good. Yeah, you want to go? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why
Okay.
not?
Yeah.
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 You know, and it's like,
I use 5-minute rest.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like,
right?
they get done beating the shit out of each other. Hey, good match, guys. Good. You know,
Oh
that
yeah,
was
exactly.
like,
Good fight
Thank you.
there. Eh? I
Yeah,
got
it
the
was-
first beer later. I'll
Yeah.
get the first beer.
Yeah.
it's just,
and that's exactly what it was. And especially after a guy takes out like your teammate or whatever, guy will go up to you. Listen, man, you did something. Let's go. 5 minutes. Do it. Tap it. And then they tap each other at the end and get into the box.
yeah.
So my number 4 is a man who never did any of that because he was too busy scoring and amazing people in the crowd that came to watch him play. One Mario Lemieux. Probably
Yeah.
one of
Fun.
the literal best puck handlers you've ever seen with a hockey stick in his hand at a time when puck handling still wasn't all about what everything was. It was a lot of goons, a lot of big guys. He wasn't that kind of guy. He wasn't the big guy that scored and fought you. He was the guy that the whole team defended.
Yeah.
He was the ace guy and always will be. In my mind, he will be a standard, just like Wayne Gretzky is considered a standard, like Hasek and Brodeur are considered standards at the goalie positions. Mario Lemieux he's a timeless name that'll always be classified as a standard of greatness.
Yeah.
Yes, he will.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep. So that's
My number four,
What do you got, B?
we talked about already. I always loved this guy because when he took the gear off, he was the littlest dude you'd ever seen. And it's Dominic Hasek. Like he was like a 4 foot,
Oh,
11,
yeah,
5
he
foot
was
dude.
nothing.
He was like a big suit of armor, and he would just be like taking off. He'd be like, "Hey guys, how you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey
yeah.
guys,
He looked like the thing in. You ever see the original Mario Brothers movie? Like
it'd
the
be like
real-
Cody
Yeah.
Bob
Bork when he was
Hoskins.
16.
and the Koopa has the really itty bitty head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. Cody Bork when he was 50. He's such a
Hey,
prick.
Yeah.
hey guys, hey guys.
But yeah, number 4, Dominic Hasek.
I can't see my number 4. I got to move the cat again. Hey, come here. My number 4. I'm going old school Bruins. His number has been retired. He is in the Hall of Fame. Rick Middleton. When I first started really watching hockey, was like the late 70s, early 80s. On WSBK TV, Boston, channel 38.
Yes, sir.
It was Channel 4 in Rockland.
Really?
Yep.
Oh. I loved Rick Middleton. Again, he was always the smallest guy on the ice, but he was also scoring 50 goals and everything else. He just was, he was fun. So, Rick Middleton, number 4.
My number 3 we've talked about, so we can make it quick. Jumbo Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
even more now that he's on the Leafs.
That I will forget about this period of Jumbo Joe's.
Hey, I kind of like it because it means we're going to see him a little bit more around here if they play the Bruins, and it'd actually be good to see. He was one of my favorite players when he was on the Bruins years ago. I still never understood why they let him go. They just weren't thinking to the future.
No,
They just
that
weren't.
was no,
They
that
just
was
weren't.
dumb.
It was dumb.
Yeah.
So my number 3, B, you did it to me again, bro. You did it to me with Ovechkin earlier. You did it to me with Hasek this time. My number 3 is absolutely Dominic Hasek, my favorite goalie to watch of all time. Maybe not the best by the numbers, but my favorite to watch of all time. The man literally threw every single part of his body and then anything else he could get his hands on to stop the puck. He's made some of the best saves. You look at a highlight reel of goaltenders over the last 40 years, Hasek's going to be 40% of all of the highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I loved watching them.
He was a flaily type of goalie. He
Yeah,
was a good goalie, but he was a flaily one.
There was
flail
no
everywhere.
butterfly
For a
style.
while, you had Hasek, Waugh, Van Beesbrook, and Brodeur. And any night of the week, one of those 4 guys was going to have a shutout.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I got Hasek at 3. What do you got, B?
My 3 is the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Loved watching Gretzky play. I don't remember the Edmonton stuff. Obviously, I'm a little young for that, but I remember when he went to the Kings and he was the, anointed as the, he was the Michael Jordan of hockey, when you were a kid, because honestly, when you're a kid, if you're not in the Northeast, hockey's kind of like, oh, Gretzky, okay, he's good, right? Like, you got to live in a region where hockey, like Calvin in Canada, us in New England, like, and then you understand the greatness that is Wayne Gretzky and what he was doing in a sport that for honestly a long time was kind of niche if you didn't live in an area where, ice was prevalent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but back in the Bobby Orr days, no one in Florida gave a shit about hockey.
No, not a 1 either.
Unless you're from the Northeast and you
Right.
retired.
Well, that's
down
true.
there.
If you were like a snowbird or
Yeah.
you went down there, yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that was it. I mean,
Otherwise-
I don't have Wayne Gretzky in my top. Jesus Christ, in my
Yeah.
top 10,
Neither
but
do I.
that's not to take away from the dude's greatness because he was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just amazing. got to watch him in 88 in the Boston Garden. I think it was 88. I can't remember now. 88 or 87. Just
His teammate Mark Messier is on my honorable mentions.
mine too.
Big Messier guy.
My number 3, we've already talked. He is the captain of the Boston Bruins. He is the center of the perfection line, Mr. Patrice Bergeron.
And you are not wrong.
Arguably the greatest face-off dude in the sport.
Keep going. Don't stop. This is pissing Calvin off. I mean, one of the best captains that you could put on a team, a leader on the team, on the ice, every which way. He gives the best hockey interviews ever. I mean, there's so many different things. I'm not going to stop until you put your headphones back in. There's so many different things you could say about Patrice Bergeron that would.
You get him higher on your list, don't you, Calvin?
Oh yeah, he's way up there. He's like, you can't even see him on the list. That's how high he is. He's like when you get pulled over by the cops and you're like, oh, I was just trying to stay with the flow of traffic. Sir, there's no traffic in front of you. I know, that's how far ahead they are. They're just that far ahead that I have to catch up. Yeah.
Step out of the vehicle, Mr. Locke, please. Yeah. Please step out of the vehicle.
My number 2 is, as of right now, my favorite Leaf of all time, Mats Sundin. Loved watching him play. Grew
Big
up
dude.
cheering for him. Oh yeah, he could score and hit. He's the same kind of player. I loved him. Mats Sundin, number 2.
So I did not pick a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. Especially, I remember Mats Sundin. I used to make fun of him because is there more than one? His should have been Matt. We used to make fun of him. That Matt's. It's like, does he have an invisible twin brother? Like, what's going on with that one? But it's kind of unique.
That's how good he was. There was 2 of them.
He played as well as 2 players, so they called him Mats. All right, I'll go. You get some, or he did other things with floor mats. I don't know. Whatever you do to get a nickname is whatever you got to do. No, my number 2 is probably, arguably, some people would say, one of the best Boston Bruins of the 80s and early 90s, the current president of the Boston Bruins, one Mr. Cam Neely. Cam was another one of those guys that would score the Gordie Howe hat trick and then get a hat trick of 3 fights in a game. If you pissed him off, not 3 goals, but the 3 fights hat trick. Was the heart and soul for a very, very long time. Me and all the guys growing up, we all had Cam Neely jerseys. We all wanted to be Cam Neely.
Mm-hmm.
And I blame Ulf Samuelsson.
Yeah, you should. But Cam is still one of the biggest presence here in Boston. We have one of the better hockey minds in the league, being the league president. And then another great hockey mind that he played with. That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. How many times have you known a guy that hawked a loogie in Jim Carrey's burger?
That's
right. If you know a guy who's done that, then he could be higher on my list. But right now, Cam Neely at number 2.
My number 2, we talked about, center from the Pittsburgh Penguins, Super Mario Lemieux. Loved watching Mario Lemieux play. Just a wizard. Back before, like Marky said, wizardry was what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Lemieux is not on my list.
Mine neither.
My number 2, the great Ray Bourque.
Yes.
We've talked. We don't need to discuss the wonderfulness of Ray, the greatest, probably second greatest Bruin of all time, second greatest defenseman of all time.
Cool.
Who would be better?
Bobby Orr.
For Bruins Nation?
Great debate.
It is a great debate, but Bobby Orr defined, or actually changed, the definition of defenseman in the NHL.
Very true. Very true.
Ray Bourque actually has worn 3 7s that have been retired in the Garden.
Yeah.
Because he originally was 7.
He was number 7.
Until they retired that.
Gave it to Esposito. And then
So
77.
now we are at the number ones on each of
Number
our
one.
lists.
Yeah.
So Calvin, who's your favorite hockey
How
player?
many of these have
My-
already been taken? Is what I'm curious about.
My favorite. No, you guys won't be taking mine. There'd be no way anybody's taking mine. My favorite hockey player of all time
Joe
is
Kessel.
probably the best little man to ever play the game, and that would be Martin St. Louis.
Current member of
Wow.
the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes, no, is he?
No.
No, Steve
no,
Eiserman.
no.
Steve Eiserman's got the Tampa Bay.
No, I said current member. Current player.
Member. No, Martin
No,
St.
no,
Louis.
I thought
No,
St.
no.
Louis
No,
made it
no.
over to
St. Louis,
Tampa Bay.
he retired, didn't he?
He retired Tampa Bay, and that was a long time ago. He
Yeah.
retired like 2009 or 10 maybe.
Well, the Lightning suck anyway too, so that's
Yeah, yeah, of course they do. Yeah, of course, 2-time defending champions. Who do?
They suck.
Yeah. Anyways, Martin St. Louis, probably just so fun, little guy, like 4'11", 5 foot. He just went nuts on everybody. Like such a good scorer.
No
Young,
fucks
quick.
were given when he played.
No.
No,
The
none
way
at
he
all.
played.
The way he played, no, he was gonna just destroy right through you.
Yeah. Fun to watch.
Oh, he was.
He was.
So for me, my number one, this one was very, very easy. And Tim, you did it to me this time as well. My number one, my favorite hockey player of all time is Ray Bork. I can't say it any better. It was very close between him and Neely, but just Ray.
No,
Don't need to
Mark,
say
you
too
did it
much
to
else.
me because
I
my
did it to
number
you?
one is Cam Neely.
All right, so
Cam Neely. Yeah,
penalties offset
I can
first
remember. We used to go to a lot of card shows when I was a kid, and Bruins were a big part of me and Dad. We used to watch hockey together all the time, and we went to like 4 card shows in a row, and they were all Bruins, and we got to meet Adam Oates, Joe Juno, Ray Bork, and Cam Neely.
Joey
And I
Juneau,
still-
remember Joey Juneau.
I still have all 4 of the signed 8x10s that I got from those shows. They're still framed in my man cave, hanging up here, and it's some of the first memorabilia I got. And you just huge. Like Cam Neely was a cool dude. He talked to you, and it wasn't one of these things where he was looking down the whole time signing shit. He'd look up, how you doing, where you from, cool. It's like it was cool being a kid and seeing a guy you saw on Sports Center that morning in a highlight,
Right.
and then you're like, oh, you're standing next to him getting your picture taken back with the old Polaroids. So you got it immediately. You're like, oh, that one sucked. Let's take another one.
My number one, Stevie Tajora. Just kidding.
Who the fuck is that?
He's on my honorable mention, actually. Stevie Tajora. Never played in the NHL. Maine Mariners, played with the Japanese hockey, the Team Japan in the '98 Olympics, I think. But he was Maine Mariners
Nagano?
back in the '70s and early '80s. But my number one player, Maki, you did it to me as well. Cam Neely.
Cam.
Cam will. I don't know as if there'll ever be another player on the Bruins team like Cam Neely ever in the history of Evers. He was my favorite. Yeah.
And has one of the best Sports Center commercials of all time. When they first announced the ESPN News, he's like, oh, I retire finally, and now you do a 24-hour-a-day sports network with highlights and stuff. You want to kick my dog while you're here too?
Yeah. I will say, some of my honorable mentions. I did have Wayne Gretzky. I did have Mark Messier, Jerome McGinley. I love
Yeah,
Jerome McGinley.
Gilma's awesome.
I loved him
Yeah.
when he played for Calgary, and obviously when he came to the Bruins. A couple of guys on here, Teemu Selanne.
Yeah, I
Love
got him
Teemu
on my honorable
Selanne.
mentions. I got Forsberg.
I had Brad
Forsberg.
Marchand.
Yep.
He's in my honorable mention. But I had there's a couple of guys here that Sean Thornton, I loved him because he was the man. Like, you fuck with my team and I'm gonna break your face.
Mhm.
But the two guys that you guys hadn't heard of are folks, obviously, Stevie Tajora and Kevin Kaminsky. So Kevin Kaminsky played for the Portland Pirates when they won the Calder Cup back in '94. You had Kevin Kaminsky, you had Ole the goalie, Olaf Kolzig. They were the farm team, the AHL farm team for the Capitals back then. Matter of fact, my first trip to Moncton was Game 5. We drove up to the game and then drove home after they lost, and went to the game 2 nights later in Portland when they won. And I got to drink out of the Calder Cup when we were partying with the team down in the Old Port in Portland.
Oh shit. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was fun.
Another name we didn't hear tonight at all was Sergei Fedorov.
Yeah, I got him in my honorable mentions.
Yep, me too.
I have Claude Lemieux in my honorable mentions.
He was such a
What?
dick, but he deserves
I love
to be
Claude
there. He was
Lemieux.
such a dick.
How the fuck can you like Claude Lemieux? Claude
He's
Lemieux doesn't even
goon
like
and
Claude
everybody
Lemieux.
hates him.
Yes, I love Claude Lemieux.
Yeah.
He was a dink. He was one of those guys, like in
Oh.
wrestling. Sometimes you watch a guy just to see if he's going to get his ass kicked tonight. I watch Avalanche games to watch and see if somebody would finally take Claude Lemieux out.
I just wanted to watch him, and just when it was the Western Conference Finals, and he like when he walked into Detroit and they just booed him mercilessly.
Oh yeah.
And he would wave to him like, "Hey,
Yeah.
hi."
I got Felix the Cat on there.
Yeah.
Mike Modano. He was another
Mike
one.
Modano, that's another one we never heard all night long.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite. I think that whole Western trio, like Dallas, Detroit, Colorado, the whole like 90s, the 3 teams in the West. It was always them. There was never any other teams. It was always those 3 teams.
I
And
met
it was so much
Modano.
fun to watch. Did you? Nice.
We were in New York on our 8th grade class trip. We were staying in Secaucus, New Jersey, and in the hotel, the 13th floor was blocked off, and we're like, why the hell can't anybody go to 13? Well, we were in the hotel in the elevator, and it opened, and there was Sergei Zubov and Mike Modano standing there because the Stars were staying there because they were playing the Devils in the Cup that year.
Nice.
So it was
No
like,
shit.
and they're like, we'll take the next one. We're like, we can move. Like,
Yeah, be like,
sure?
don't come in. No, seriously, come in. Come in. No, come in. We have our avid top 10 listener, Dave Obey. He sent us his list. He has number 10, David Pasternak. Number 9, Joe Sakic. Number 8, Martin Brodeur. Number 7, Alex Ovechkin. Number 6, Patrice Bergeron. Number 5, Cam Neely. Number 4, Lemieux. Number 3, Brad Richards, which is another one.
Whoa.
It's no one we didn't hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Richards, real good player.
Yeah.
Number 2, Jaromir Jagr, and number 1, Raymond Bourque.
He's a Bruins fan, huh?
Yes, he is a Bruins fan.
Dave, you have amazing tastes in number ones. Absolutely agree.
Nobody would have a list with Bruins fans, with Bruins players on them, unless they're Bruins fans.
Will you mute this bastard, please? Please just mute him for the rest of the damn show.
We're done
bullshit.
we're done in like 45 seconds. So
Yeah, I was gonna say.
you
Give
can
me a
just
quiet
listen to it.
45 seconds. All right, fine. Whatever, fine.
All right. So, thank you. Appreciate it. Next week we will do. So we've done NBA, we've done NHL. We'll do
NASCAR.
What?
Well, no, we got to do the top 4.
Oh,
sports
I thought we'd
first.
do
So
NASCAR.
We'll do baseball.
Baseball.
Next week.
Let's go baseball. Yeah.
That's easy one for me.
So
Whatever
Brian,
one
you
it
mentioned
was.
you are not here next week.
More than likely not. It depends
Okay.
on how the new 4-legged members of my family do at camp. But I will probably not be around next week.
If you want to get your list to us before next week, if you remember, that way we can read it on the air. That would be good.
Ding.
Do not forget the roast coming up.
Yes.
That's coming soon. We have other huge news coming up. I don't know what it is, but we must have something coming up that can be huge news.
We'll make up something that ends up happening.
Yep.
But things will be there. Thumbs up will be had.
Mhm.
There'll be smileys and hearts and all over it. So just keep tuned for that. Make sure you watch for that.
Yep.
See, there they are. I told you. All you had to do was keep watching. That's all you had to do. There's more of them right there. I'm telling you, man. I hope this shit makes it on the real video.
It
'Cause
does.
otherwise, we're going to look like morons just talking about things that aren't there.
It pops up. Don't worry.
All right. I hope it does. Excellent.
Oh my
All right,
God,
perfect.
Tim, keep going. Let's go.
Okay. As usual,
really
you
gotta take
guys
a lead.
can
Let's go.
you guys can hear Marky and Brian on Sunday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, on twitch.tv, Johnny Deathdrop, Dudes and Belts Chatcast, where they discuss Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. And again, you've got us on Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings. Please get all your questions, comments, concerns over to rippingtherackpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at rippingtherack.com. No comments about OnlyFans. And Brian, where else can they see us or hear us?
No.
Mark,
They they can hear us on iTunes, iHeartRadio.
all right, Maki, you want to take over for Brian?
Timothy.
Go fuck yourself, Ian Madero. Anchor Breaker, and wherever else you listen to your podcast mediums.
Oh, guys, appreciate it. Have a great weekend for our 3 listeners that are remaining. Hope you have a great
3.
weekend as well.
That's
See
3.
you
I hope
Tuesday.
there's still 3. I hope there's still 3 people left.
I hope so. All right. Peace out, Cub Scouts.